Hey team, today we're going to talk about leadership with Lieutenant Colonel Scott Dellinger. Scott is an air defense officer. He's a graduate of Texas A&M University, and he commanded 1-1 Air Defense Artillery Patriot Battalion in Okinawa. Scott has got 3 deployments, 1 to Iraq, 1 to Operation Enduring Freedom, which you were in Kuwait in support of, and then 1 to Saudi Arabia. And Scott, when you finish the war college, you're heading into the Pentagon, down into the bowels in the Joint Staff on the J5. Scott is married to his wife Carmel. They've got 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. Great Army family there. So Scott, you've worked for a lot of different leaders in your career. Who's some of the best leaders you've worked for, and what made them the best?
Well, it's really hard to distinguish just 1 or 2, because every job that I've had, every deployment or every opportunity, there's always a host of great leaders. But if I've got to narrow it down, I'd say the first one that comes to my mind has got to be my battery first sergeant when I commanded in Iraq, and his name's David Gonzalez, First Sergeant David Gonzalez, who retired as a sergeant major. And I think what stood out with David was just his commitment to selflessness. He taught me caring, compassion, and what it truly meant to serve. The second leader that really stands out in my mind is Brigadier General Sean Gainey. And he was my most recent boss. When I was Commander 1180A, he was the commanding general of the 94th Army Air Missile Defense Command. But he taught me a lot about the profession. And he was really a leader to emulate, and he still is a leader to emulate. He just exudes professionalism in everything he does, and you just know that he's got an honorable sense about him, and that's just somebody that you want to try to be like.
Those are 2 great examples, and you're talking about your first sergeant and how much in all of our careers have we learned from the NCOs that we work together with and take those lessons from. So those are 2 great leaders you work for. All right, so Scott, if we got all your lieutenants together from 1180A in Okinawa, and we said, what's Colonel Dellinger's thing that he always says? What's his hot rock or number 1 leadership tip?
Well, I think if you'd ask the lieutenants, the number 1 leadership tip would be, is this being helpful or hurtful? So no matter whether it's something you say, something you do, an order you give, or an action or reaction, is that action or reaction, is it helpful or hurtful to the organization, to the mission, to the people and the families? A second thing they might say is, I would always say, work for your boss, but not in the sense that your boss is your supervisor or your boss is your commander, but work for those that you serve, because whoever you serve, that's your boss.
Right.
So your bosses are the people in your organization, whether it be subordinates, superiors, or peers. So work for them and work for them faithfully.
Yeah, those are good. Work for the team. Work
for the team,
and be a value added to the team. So those are good tips. I know your lieutenants could probably rattle those off very quickly from their time with you. So if you could go back in time, all the way back to when you were a cadet at Texas A&M in the Corps, doing all the things that you guys do down there in Aggie land, and you could talk to Cadet Dellinger, what would you tell him?
I would tell Cadet Dellinger a resilience tip that I've probably learned in the past 5 to 10 years, and that resilience tip is to hunt the good stuff. Look for the opportunity. Look for what is enriching the organization, and don't dwell on the negative.
Right.
Most important, because as a leader, I think that leadership is a positive endeavor. There should be nothing negative about the experience of leadership. So if you continue to hunt the good stuff, and you're helping those on your team to also find the positive aspects of whatever it is you're doing, by hunting the good stuff, you'll have the endurance to carry on, and you'll have the resilience to carry on.
Yeah, I love that phrase. And 2 people that always say it to me, one was my command sergeant major, John Morales, would always say, when we would be in those tough situations, he'd be like, sir, hunt the good stuff. There's so much good to reflect on. Don't let the bad get you down. And then actually my wife now says it to me. She keeps me honest with hunt the good stuff. So that's a great phrase.
That'll carry you not only through an Army career, but learning how to find the positive aspects of something or hunting the good stuff. will carry you through personally as well, whether it be with family or school
Absolutely.
or everything else.
Absolutely. So you got a lot of different lieutenants that worked for you, a lot of different captains, junior leaders. What were some of your expectations of your junior leaders?
What I really expected of a junior leader, again, let's say it's a brand new second lieutenant coming to the organization. I know that they're not going to be a subject matter expert in the tactics, the techniques, or the technical aspects of the job. So what I really expect them is to strive to be a professional. Strive to embody the Army profession, strive to live the Army values, and be an example, be a role model, and be someone that people can look up to and somebody that they can trust.
That's good. Yeah, those are. You're not going to be perfect when you show up.
There's no way to be perfect
Right.
as a lieutenant or as a colonel. There's no way to be perfect. So can you continue to try to be perfect and continue to continuously improve yourself, identify your faults, recognize your faults, and move beyond it.
Yeah, constantly be getting better.
Yeah, get better, constant improvement.
Good. So, lastly, in closing, what are your expectations of specifically those officers and leaders that are in the air defense branch?
So air defense artillery it's a remarkable branch. It's one of the truly strategic branches in the U.S. Army. So if you watch the news, whether it was a week ago or 20 years ago, if something is happening in the world where there's a crisis response that is happening, you would hear on the news the President of the United States is sending an aircraft carrier to somewhere to protect a friend or an ally. The other thing that you would hear in the news is that the President of the United States has decided to send a Patriot battery to protect friends and allies. So the Patriot battery has got to be flexible, responsive, adaptive. We are truly ambassadors for not just the United States Army in our warfighting role, but also strategic responsibility for national objectives. A Patriot lieutenant has got a lot of responsibility, and it's got to be flexible, it's got to be adaptive, has to have a strategic mindset. But with all those things, still has to be comfortable working in a STEM environment every day. So the science, technology, engineering, and math is all about the Patriot, the air defense, the maneuver air missile defense, surveillance, early warning, engagement operations.
A lot of the technical.
There's a lot of technical aspects, but what can't be lost on the air defense officer in the STEM environment is that you still have to maintain those core competencies of being a soldier in the Army.
Right, and a leader.
Doing infantry squad tactics for site defense, for tactical convoys, for ensuring that you can get logistics
Right.
for long distances. And then, like you said, it all comes down to leadership.
Absolutely. And we operate, all the other branches operate under the umbrella of protection provided by the air defense branch. And that's something I know probably most of us take for granted, and in the future that may be different. So,
but the key that you just brought up is none of that can happen without one thing, and that one thing is leadership.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Scott, thanks for taking some time today, and thanks for your leadership of our men and women in our Army, and thanks for being on Lopez on Leadership.
Thank you.